It's Nina, and this is going to be a very quick tutorial on how to create thumbnails with Canva. You'll check, and if you check my channel, you'll see that I have a few videos on how to do it in PicMonkey because I personally like to use PicMonkey for my thumbnails. However, I know a lot of you are like Canva junkies, so this is for you, and we're gonna make it super duper quick. So before we start, if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe below. I am getting ready to hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm super duper juiced at that. That was one of my goals that I kind of slacked off at, but thank y'all. Anyways, let's get started. So here's a couple of tips. One, keep it simple. I know this isn't crab. I did this for a client. I know this looks like garbage, but this was part of a training, so we didn't finish those. But I want to show you that when you create thumbnails, you don't have to be fancy. In fact, I'd rather you throw your picture up there and just put the text on, or go ahead and put text with the picture of the item. You don't want to make it too busy. Look at this one right here. I'm just going to click on it. Now, this is something that I made in Canva, and I had some things over here, which is great, but I want you to notice a couple of things. I have a picture of myself, it's a bright background, and then I have the text, and to make sure it stands out, I put in overlay level, or layer rather, so you can actually, so it pops out. One thing I would do differently, actually, I'm looking at this, is I tend to make my text a lot bigger because you have to remember that people are usually looking at thumbnails over the phone or on their mobile device or a tablet. So you want to make sure that they can see it when they're scrolling, but your whole goal is to make people stop scrolling. It isn't to tell them a story about what's going to be on here. It isn't to include your entire title. It's just a quick preview of, oh, I may want to see that. And then you want them to look at the title and click. So let's get started. I'm just going to click on create a design. As you know, you can go ahead and use the templates in here, but I'm going to show you something super duper simple. I'm going to go to custom dimensions, and I always put 1200 by 720, my favorite size. Yes, I have a favorite size. Now, when I put that in there, there's already templates here. I can search them, all of that. But I'm going to tell you, I just want to do something simple. Let's make this quick, right? So I have some images that I uploaded here. Now, let's act like this is me, okay? I'm going to go ahead and just click on it. Basically, what you want to do, and actually, let's pick something that's a little bit harder. So, yeah, let's do this because it's darker in the background. So basically what's going to happen is you usually want to add some type of text, right? And what people do, I see them just add some text. Let's just add this one, and they'll say like, how to use Canva, right? Now, what's the problem with this? It basically, you can't see it. So you're thinking, okay, let's make it bigger, right? Little bit better, right? Then you might think, okay, well, let's just change the color. Let's make it white so it can stand out, right? So I clicked on it and clicked the colors. Kind of stands out, but it also kind of fades into the background. So here's a couple of tips. One, make sure your font is very, very thick, right? So I try to use one that is really bold and thick and that I can really see. So even something like this, so see how it's a little bolder, very, very big, something that you can see, again, when you're scrolling down the page, and that you can see fairly quickly, right? So I'm just going to use, let's say, Barlow. That looks pretty thick, right? Okay, the other thing that you can do to make sure it stands out, I'm going to go ahead and just hit an enter here so it can wrap around, go on and wrap around there. Okay, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. I don't care that it overlaps because that part isn't important. The next thing you do is you just go to your elements on your left-hand side, and you're going to use a rectangle. You can search at the top for rectangle. This is also, there's different designs here that you can pick out, but I'm just going to use something simple like a rectangle. And then I'm going to resize it, right? Actually, instead of that, I'm going to go down to shapes and I'm going to do something a little cool. So I'm going to use this kind of, yeah, there, we'll do it here. All right, and what I'm going to do is go to the position, and actually before that, let's change this color. I'm going to make it a bright color, maybe something that matches. So let's do kind of like the yellow so it matches her cup. If I want, I can make it a little larger. Here's a tip too that I learned in designing is that you should always have the person's eyes looking directly at the text and not away from the text. But, you know, most people won't notice. All right, so I'm going to click on the text. I'm going to bring that position to the top. And actually, did I click on the text? Let's see. Let's take this and push it back. There we go. Now here's where you have the opportunity to either, you can overlap like this. It's cute like that. I would maybe change the color. Or you can put it this way. Let me delete all this extra stuff here. Oh, this is a subheading, so we'll just leave that. Okay, so here, what I would do is I'm going to align it on the left-hand side, maybe make it black so it stands out against this. I can even make the word that I really want everybody to see the largest. So now I've done that. Notice how big that is, right? I can even change this to a different color if I like. I don't think that's going to look right, but I'm just going to show you how the contrast works. But the point is you want it to stand out and you want to stop people from scrolling, right? If you want, you could actually add a different layer. But the point again is to stop people from scrolling. So I'm just going to make this a little larger. Let's say like 80. And then, yep, and then that's good. Okay. So now you can do that. You can have it overlap. But if you want to add a shadow, I can duplicate it. And I forgot in here, I have to copy to duplicate, right? Okay, did that twice. So what I'll do, come on, Nina, click on the right stuff. There you go. I can even take this back to the white color if I have this background. So you can have a shadow. Now I'm going to use my arrows to kind of move it over. And make sure you click on it with those. There you go. Make a shadow. There's also other things that you can do. You can send this to the back and have, let's do this, right? But again, you want to make sure that people stop. And actually, I like it better like this, okay? So when you're doing this, and let me just make sure, give me 1 second. Yep. I forgot to actually stretch this out. Come on, Nina. Anytime you pull on the corners, it's going to stretch it out. So I'm just going to do this. Same thing. I'm going to move it over. And then move the one under it over. There we go. That looks a lot better. I just wasn't watching my edges. Watch y'all edges, y'all. Edge control. Okay, there we go. We have our how to use Canva, right? And that would make you stop. Now, if you want, and this is what I do a lot of times, I would put the Canva icon here. But again, keep it simple. Make sure you stop people from scrolling. You can use different shapes to put behind it to make sure that you can see the text. I can even take this shape if I want and make it a little bit more transparent. If I wanted to give it a little kind of like oomph to it, I can double it up. I can put other shapes on the corner. But again, make sure that it's large enough text and that you can actually see somebody's face or the actual item that you're talking about. Be creative, you guys, but don't be like weird. Make sure people want to stop. Okay, if you have any questions, leave them below. If you have any requests for videos, I am taking requests because I am in a recording production kind of mode. So if you ask it within the next couple days, it might just get on the list. Love y'all. Ciao.